Hello, boys and girls. Today, I will tell you a famous story. The name of this story is Little Red Riding Hood. Listen carefully. Are you ready? Let's begin. Once upon a time, there was a little girl. She was very kind and very friendly. She lived with her mother in a small house near a big forest. The little girl had a grandma who lived on the other side of the forest. The little girl loved her grandma very much. The little girl's name was Little Red Riding Hood. Why was she called Little Red Riding Hood? She always wore a red hood and a red coat. Her grandma gave her the red hood, and it was her favorite. She wore it every day. So everyone called her Little Red Riding Hood. One day, her mother called her. She said, "Little Red Riding Hood, Grandma is not feeling well. She is sick and alone. Can you take this basket to Grandma? The basket has bread, a cake, and some juice. Please be careful. Walk straight to Grandma's house. Do not talk to strangers. Do not leave the path." Little Red Riding Hood was very happy. She wanted to see her grandma. She put on her red hood and took the basket. She said, "Yes, Mother, I will go straight to Grandma. I will not talk to strangers. I will not leave the path." She left the house and walked into the forest. The sun was shining. The birds were singing. It was a beautiful day. Little Red Riding Hood walked and walked. She looked at the flowers and listened to the birds. Suddenly, a big bad wolf came out of the trees. He looked at Little Red Riding Hood. He wanted to eat her, but he smiled. He said, "Hello, little girl. Where are you going?" Little Red Riding Hood forgot her mother's words. She answered, "I am going to my grandma's house. She is sick. My mother gave me a basket for her." The wolf said, "Oh, where does your grandma live?" She said, "My grandma lives on the other side of the forest, in a small house under big 3 trees." The wolf smiled. He wanted to eat both Little Red Riding Hood and her grandma. He had a clever plan. The wolf said, "Look at the beautiful flowers in the forest. Why don't you pick some flowers for your grandma? I'm sure your grandma would like them." Little Red Riding Hood thought, "That is a good idea. I will pick some flowers for Grandma." She left the path and went into the flowers. She picked red flowers, yellow flowers, and blue flowers. She felt happy. She forgot about the time and forgot her mother's words. The wolf ran quickly down the path. He ran faster and faster. He wanted to get to Grandma's house first. At last, the wolf saw the small house. He knocked on the door. He used a little girl's voice and said, "Grandma, it's me, Little Red Riding Hood. I brought you a basket." Grandma was in bed because she was not feeling well. She said, "Come in, my dear." The wolf opened the door. He jumped at Grandma. Grandma was scared, but she was not hurt. The wolf put Grandma in the wardrobe and closed the door. Grandma was safe but could not get out. The wolf put on Grandma's nightcap and glasses. He got into her bed and waited for Little Red Riding Hood. Soon, Little Red Riding Hood finished picking flowers. She remembered, "I must go to Grandma now." She found the path again and walked to Grandma's house. She knocked on the door. A voice said, "Come in, my dear." Little Red Riding Hood opened the door and went inside. She thought Grandma looked different. She said, "Hello, Grandma, I have a basket for you. I picked flowers for you, too." The wolf, in Grandma's bed, said, "Thank you, my dear." Put them on the table. Little Red Riding Hood put the basket and flowers on the table. She looked at Grandma. She said, "Oh, Grandma, what big ears you have." The wolf said, "All the better to hear you with, my dear." Little Red Riding Hood said, "Oh, Grandma, what big eyes you have." The wolf said, "All the better to see you with, my dear." Little Red Riding Hood said, "Oh, Grandma, what big hands you have." The wolf said, "All the better to hug you with, my dear." Little Red Riding Hood said, "Oh, Grandma, what big teeth you have." The wolf said, "All the better to eat you with." The wolf jumped out of bed. He wanted to eat Little Red Riding Hood. Little Red Riding Hood was very scared. She shouted, "Help, help." At that moment, a woodcutter was walking near the house. He heard the cry. He ran to the house and opened the door. The woodcutter saw the wolf. He shouted, "Stop, wolf!" The woodcutter was very brave. He caught the wolf and made the wolf run far away into the forest. The wolf never came back. Little Red Riding Hood was safe. The woodcutter opened the wardrobe and let Grandma out. Grandma hugged Little Red Riding Hood. Little Red Riding Hood was very happy. She said, "Thank you, Mr. Woodcutter, you saved us." Grandma, Little Red Riding Hood, and the woodcutter sat down and ate the bread, the cake, and drank the juice. They were all happy. Little Red Riding Hood said, "I am sorry, Grandma. I am sorry, Mother. I did not listen. I talked to the wolf and left the path." Grandma smiled and said, "It is okay, my dear. You are safe now. But always remember, do not talk to strangers and do not leave the path." Little Red Riding Hood learned her lesson. She promised, "I will never talk to strangers again. I will always listen to my mother." After a happy meal, Little Red Riding Hood said goodbye to her grandma. The woodcutter walked with her back to her home. Her mother hugged her. She was very happy that her little girl was safe. From that day, Little Red Riding Hood never left the path. She never talked to strangers. She visited her grandma many times and always stayed safe. And so, Little Red Riding Hood and her family lived happily ever after. That is the story of Little Red Riding Hood. Thank you for listening, boys and girls. See you next time.